I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everyone, I am Rachel Goodman, and I'm here with the rest of my amazing panel to talk about the new show, Snowpiercer, which of course is based off the movie. We're gonna just dive right in here. With me, I have Trina. She is Bong Joon-ho's biggest fan. Trina, welcome to the panel.
Hello.
And we've got Bryant. He's a fan of post-apocalyptic shows. Hello, Bryant.
Hello, I love this so much already. It's a little bit scary, but I'm also ready for it.
I think we're all ready for this. And then we've got Ashley, actress, writer, and lover of all sci-fi things. Hey, Ashley. Hey. So let's dive right in. Just first of all, just so we have a general idea here of the panel, who has seen the actual movie first? Just a raise a hand so we can. Okay.
And I read through the book a little bit.
Awesome.
Whoa, overachieve.
So, come on.
So the first thing that I just want to say up front for all the viewers at home is that obviously this is kind of an alternate universe of what we saw with the movie, which of course had Chris Evans in it. But we do get a callback to some of the same characters. We start off and we get the voiceover of Daveed Diggs, who of course is Hamilton fame. And he is obviously one of our main protagonists here. And it's very similar in the sense that we still get Wilfred's train. They literally jumped right into it though. And I think what was amazing is that we got this like almost graphic novel-y, to honor the graphic novel, but that graphic novel-y intro to kind of take us into this world. So Trina, what did you think of this opening?
I watched the movie so long ago, and so there's a lot that I don't remember. So I was glad that I didn't remember very much of it because I don't need to be comparing both of them this whole time. But like I said before, the blood, the guts, the rage kind of freaked me out a lot, especially in these times. So, but I definitely got into the story. I like how they did it. I like how they started us off.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think it's interesting, like you said, comparing the two, it's hard for me not to, because I just watched Snowpiercer, recently, back when AfterBuzz did, Popcorn Talk did the coverage for it. Yeah. So it's on my mind as we're watching this. It's hard for me not to compare them. Bryant, what did you think of meeting these people for the first time? Specifically, we've got Layton, who is our main character, really. What did you think of Layton and Melanie and kind of diving right in to this world with different classes?
It's so funny. I actually like how I'm the only one who has no history or no experience with this world at all, because I feel like it gives me this interesting perspective of meeting everybody for the first time. So I did like that aspect of kind of like not knowing anything about any of these people, where they come from, their characters, and just kind of meeting them and diving right into their stories. So Layton was definitely, I could see from the beginning how he had that moment with the child who, they obviously have this relationship, and then we have Melanie, who in the end we get this like big reveal, which was super interesting as well. So I just loved meeting them. I loved how they were introduced and kind of, like I said, just diving right into their story as opposed to like giving any kind of backstory.
Yeah. And so the interesting thing is, unlike the movie, with the show, they really just went right into it. We're 6 years into, we're 6 years into this post-apocalyptic world. And basically, Layton is pulled from the tail end, or tailies, as they call it in the show. And they really quickly turn this into what's going to be a murder mystery. So completely dovetailing from the movie in that sense that, okay, I get what this show is going to be about. Essentially, it's a crime show, but set in a post-apocalyptic world. I found that very fascinating that is the premise and that's kind of the take on this. But we really quickly have Layton running into, he doesn't know if he wants to do this for them. He runs into Zara, his ex-girlfriend, and there's a lot of hints of the old world. Ashley, what did you think of kind of, Layton, but also Layton being pulled into the third class?
I really love this show, this movie, this world. For me, I kind of wanted Layton to enjoy some of the delicacies that he hasn't seen in 6 or 7 years.
Mm,
You know, he's walking past these cherry. I mean, I've never seen cherry blossoms, and he's walking past these cherry blossoms, like just to have the moment of smelling the cherry blossoms or feeling the plants as he walked by. So that for me, I was like, I wanted him to live in this moment of, I have been in the tail for 6 or 7 years. I haven't seen light. I haven't seen plants. I haven't seen like decent food. So I kind of wanted to have that moment of like, oh my gosh, like I forgot that this stuff actually exists. But I
mm,
thought it was like visually just so beautiful. I'm just like, dang, I couldn't imagine like being in a tail and walking up and experiencing the,
Mm-hmm.
it's not even a whole new world, it's your world that you just haven't been privy to for quite some time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to point out, I mean, the fact that they would bring in the bricks so quickly, and we all know, well, okay, most of us here know what the bricks really are. I'm not going to say, because for anyone who's new to Snowpiercer, I won't ruin the beautiful mess that is those bricks and what they really are. But we saw them
Bricks.
really quickly. Yeah, the food, that the
Yeah. That little, like, yeah, it was just like, okay, yeah.
the
Mhm.
food. I'll just say that. But it's interesting because they brought that into the picture so quickly.
mm.
But we see that that's what they're used to eating 6 years into this world. But now Layton is being re-exposed to even something like a strawberry, and how beautiful that is to
Yeah.
him, being
Mhm.
deprived for so many years, and the things that we take for granted that we just have access to, that now suddenly he's being re-entered into normalcy again, or this new normal. And so we really start to meet Melanie, who is the voice of the train, who that's all we think she is throughout most of this episode.
Uh-huh.
But she is really, in a way, like, without labeling her the conductor, which is what we kind of learn she is at the end. She really is orchestrating a lot of what's happening even
Mm,
before we get that reveal. So,
Mhm.
Karina,
mhm.
what did you think of Melanie, and specifically that scene where she is smelling and looking at the strawberry and comparing the balance with how important that strawberry is to
Yeah.
the people in the tail end?
Wait, before we go that, can we have a moment for Jennifer Connelly? This is her first time back on TV in 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Crazy.
way to introduce yourself back to this world, Jennifer Connelly. Like, killed it.
sure.
Okay, sorry, I just had to say that.
No, don't
Oh,
be
thank
sorry. You're
you.
so right. Because that first scene that she, her first sitting down in the chair and kind of making everything proper and starting her announcements, that was the character's arrival, but also her arrival and a reminder that Jennifer Connelly can act.
Mhm.
She is not messing around. And that's how I felt when her character started being more involved with other characters and having no fear and just being bold in these situations where you expect a Jennifer Connelly character to maybe be a little more meek, but she's definitely not. So I was really happy with how we started her out as, we don't know what she's going to be at this point. Will she be the heroine? Will she be the evil? We don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see which side she takes. Also, just want to give a quick shout out. We do have people in the chat. So we have people watching. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in, making AfterBuzz the ESPN of TV talk. Please subscribe, comment, let us know what you think of the show. We've got E. Starkey. I loved the opening. Anybody else in the chat want to share? I'll chime back in when I can.
Now, Trina, you had made a comment about, we don't know, even someone like Melanie, and let's just cut to the end, because there's really, we've all seen the show at this point. The end, we discover that is Mr. Wilford, which, one, I thought that was a very fresh take on this, because why does Mr. Wilford have to be a man? A man in Snowpiercer, the 2013 movie, he was generally like more on the bad side than the good side. I mean, yes,
Right.
there's some gray area elements to him, but I love that in the show, they're portraying people in the third class, and people even like Melanie, they're portraying them in more of a gray area, in the sense that they are not necessarily good or bad. They are just living out their lives in a manner of survivalism. And
Exactly.
I feel like they are portraying that more so than they did in the movie. Just, with the fact that one, it's a TV show, we have the luxury of being able to watch them for more hours. And so I think that going into this, that's the idea, that the writers and the producers of the show have the time to really kind of uncurl like what it is that drives these people in this world, more so than a 90-minute film. So I think
Right.
that is definitely an advantage. Bryant, what did you think? Let's just jump to the ending. We have a little bit more in the middle to talk about, but that ending, what did you think of the reveal with Melanie?
I loved it. I absolutely did not see it coming. I felt something was going to be revealed, but definitely not that. Like, she was just in her, I guess, like her little quarters, her cabin area, getting herself together, putting on her cute little MIT hoodie. And then she walks in and you see a guy and you're like, oh, that's Mr. Wilford. And then I could tell when he just got up and he's like, oh, and I was like, oh, there, she's Mr. Wilford. I love it. So I 100% echo what you say, Rachel. I love how she is the person in power. And the fact that she makes everyone else think that she's not. She is just the voice of the train. She is not really the person in charge. So I love how everyone has this illusion of her, when really she's calling every single shot on that train.
And what a better way for her to have eyes than to be a normal person just looking. Whereas the Mr. Wilford in the movie, I don't need to keep comparing this, but the Mr. Wilford in the movie, he had to rely on other people versus no, Melanie, she's smart enough to know she is going to be the other people because no one is going to suspect it's her based on how she's acting like a regular person.
Yeah.
Ashley, what did you think about this reveal?
It's funny because I was taking notes when I was watching it, and I was like, I can't tell if I love or hate her yet. Because Mason, who's played by Tilda Swinton in the movie, I hated her immediately as she came in. I did, and I was like, okay, so Jennifer Connelly is like this character, but it's not. She's totally different. So for me, I was like, kind of like, oh, I love this. And then when she put the MIT sweatshirt on, I was like, how fitting that she went to MIT. How fitting that she still has the sweatshirt. Because, people could only take a certain amount of things. So the fact that her character thought to bring that is so on par and on brand for who she is.
Yeah.
And for me, it was so cool to see her like as Mr. Wilfred comfortable in her sweater and just relaxing, and how she is in her job where she's upright and, she carries this level of like respect. And it was just really cool to see Jennifer Connelly play the difference between these two characters that she's both. So that was really fascinating. And I was happy that it wasn't like when I saw Ryan sitting there, I was like, of course Ryan's Mr. Wilfred. And it's revealed to us that it's not. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was living.
It was almost like a reverse Mr. Oz moment where you think it's going to be like the guy's name is Ben, she called him. He's literally like slowly turning around in his chair. Like it's supposed to be this big like cinematic reveal. And then, oh yeah, P.S. here's another twist. He's not Mr. Wilford. Told ya. Yeah, I thought that was a very intelligent way to write that. That he was just someone helping her. Let's go back a little bit. We've got a few more things to talk about. Okay, so like the movie, we do have an old Ivan character who was played by John Hurt in Snowpiercer, the movie.
Yeah.
But we did get this character who really, he was a driving force for what ends up happening for the tailies. So this moment where we get old Ivan, it's his birthday, and the one thing that he wants is to be able to listen to music and have the space. What we don't realize is that he's doing this specifically because he's ready to be done. And so he does end up hanging himself, and this sparks the revolution that the tailies were waiting for. Trina, what did you think of all of this?
It's so hard to watch, and you don't think that you're going to, well, I stupidly probably didn't think that I was going to start losing characters so fast. But obviously there was something that was going to happen to set off more motion because there's too much chaos going on. So I don't know, because it's kind of sad because it was smart what they did after it. And I feel like that was kind of honoring him in a way by using his death as a tool for them to possibly be able to gain some sort of freedom or some sort of advancement or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, hard to watch.
That actually didn't.
Oh, go ahead, Ashley.
No, go
That
ahead.
happened in the book too. Yeah, there's a character that committed suicide. So
Mhm.
it's cool to see the little nuggets that they have from the book. And it's funny because when I started watching this, I was like, I already saw the movie. I know what's gonna happen. So it's like, because I went into this like, and then this is gonna happen. And I love that it's like it's so different.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Now, Bryant, as someone who has not seen the movie, what was your take on old Ivan?
Again, like you said, Trina, just you don't think you're gonna lose characters so fast, and it's just all about these surprises. In this first pilot, when you think of a pilot, all you think of is just like people are being introduced and kind of their backstory, and you want to get to know them and love them more. You don't think they're just gonna like hang themselves in the middle of the room, So
Yeah.
it definitely threw me for a loop, and just echoing what you said, Trina, I love how they use it as a springboard to kind of take back some of the power that they've lost and some of the power that they need, and just any kind of freedom or any kind of sense of self that they've been missing these last 6 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And so where this leaves us, though, is that we do end up with Layton deciding that he is going to work as a homicide detective for the third class. And it's interesting because that's as far as we got. I mean, we did get to the front of the train with Melanie, but we did kind of see snippets of, I guess, the upper echelons, but they really centered mainly in this episode on the third class and what they wanted Layton to do with this homicide, with this dead body. We know like they have left some of the mystery because we know that they're going to wake up Nikki. She's a sleeper. We don't know what that means for yet in this AU for them to wake her up. And I'm just going to leave it there because I think that they're going in a very different direction from the movie with this. And so it will be very interesting to see what they do. We can talk more about that in predictions. The last thing I wanted to comment on was that when we meet the doctor really quickly in that room, they are playing Je fais la mort, which in French basically it's just interesting that that is the choice of song that they would choose when they are dealing with life and death and people trying to play God, I guess. So before we move into our special segments, Trina, Bryant, Ashley, Trina, let's start with you. Do you have any last thoughts on this episode that you wanted to share?
No, I think we were left hanging in a good way. And so I think I am more excited now to continue than I was during the episode. There was just a lot happening, I thought. Not that I didn't know it was coming, but I just didn't want it to be chaos the whole time. And I wanted some sort of steady hand. And I think that what they did at the end gave that to me. Absolutely. So I'm excited to move forward now with that. So I'm glad it's how it worked out.
And Bryant, did you have any last thoughts?
Yeah, just what I think was interesting. I don't know if they did this the same way on television. They probably did with the way commercials were, but for the last, like all that time was super interesting with that fight and all that big drama. And then I was looking at my computer screen and I saw like 3 last minutes. I was like, what are they going to give me in the 3 minutes after a commercial? And then it was the big reveal.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting to see just the way the show was structured of how all this drama happened. And they save, of course, that big last punch for those last little moments, which I loved.
I was watching on TNT.com.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Same.
And so the commercials popped up the same way. And I also found that interesting with that last 3 minutes, but it's crazy the way that they used their real estate to really work that in and drive home. Like I feel like that was very brilliant the way that they just kind of left us with a cliffhanger, so that we are going to come back and watch. Ashley, what are your final thoughts?
It's like I mentioned before, I went in thinking I knew it all because I saw the movie and stuff. But for me, at first, I was watching it like, oh, I wish it was a little grittier, a little darker, a little edgier, a little bloodier. And then like I was watching with friends of mine, like
I'd be like, oh,
we're like,
what I'm watching so far is so dark. But my friends were like, Ashley, keep in mind this is TNT, so you have to remember the show lives in the world of cable networking, and so
not
it's
HBO or.
Exactly. And I'm used to HBO. I'm used to Showtime. I'm used to Netflix.
Yeah.
So like I had to remember, oh, I'm watching this on a cable network where we have commercials. So they have to write up to the commercial to, then come back and write up to the commercial. So once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay. I was able to watch it with new eyes and kind of enjoy the journey that we're on, and like not comparing it to the book, not comparing it to the movie, but actually watching this story and this journey of these characters. And once I did that, I was like, oh, this is so much fun. I can't wait to see where we go on this Snowpiercer.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that I think that they've done an excellent job setting this up so that we are now in a show that stands on its own. That is not like, of course, we're going to compare it to the movie because there are a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of things that they are paying tribute to with what they're bringing in. But I do think it stands on its own, and it's going to be really interesting seeing where they go with this, especially Melanie's character. I would love to see someone who is not quite on the bad side and is more like in the middle. So that being said, let's get to our special segment. We are doing the which car would you want to be in and why? Brian, take it away.
So just wanted to do something fun for this episode in particular, just because we were kind of introduced to those, 3 cars, the tailies, the third class, and then I guess kind of that first main class of, the 1%ers of the world. So I feel like this kind of might be an easy question, but what I want to ask is, which car would you want to be on if you were on the Snowpiercer? So Trina, I'll start with you.
Well, generally I would say first class, because that is where I would want to get things handed to me and not have to do much work. But people are getting murdered there too. So I would probably say third class and do a little bit of work, but try not to be on the side where these cops are getting their heads bashed in and things. So that's where I'll live for now, but it will change, I'm sure.
Yes. Rachel, how about you?
I would say first class, but not for the reason of being taken care of, but for the reason that I would choose first class to start making changes while people don't realize I'm doing this. And so that would be the whole goal, is that I could start, like, I feel like you have to have a person up at the top who is, there on your behalf. And so that would be the goal for me, not to be there as a citizen, but to be there with the secret goal of working in a revolution to help the people at the end.
Yeah.
Come on, double agent. Ashley, how about you?
I'm thinking, if we're talking about realistic, I don't have money, so I would not be in the first class. I would think somewhere lower middle, because I'm always watching. I want to know what's happening in first class, but don't want to be involved. I want to know what's happening in the tail, but don't want to be involved. So I want to stay right in the middle so I can keep an eye on everything. Because I feel like I don't want to be like upper class. You don't really know what it's like. So then if I ever had to move classes, it wouldn't be too much of a drastic change either way. I want to be right in the middle.
Yes, I love that. Well, I'm just going to say, just for my own selfish reasons, I'm going to be in first class. They're going to serve me. I'm going to have the money. I'm going to have the good food. Not going to deal with that drama.
Brian swimming in that water.
Got to get
no
my mermaid
surprise.
Vibes, have my strawberries, like whatever.
That's hilarious. Hey, at least you're being honest.
Yes, but that's our special segment. Let us know if you like that. If you want to hear more of it, it'll kind of change with each week, but maybe we can see episode by episode. If we do get to see, maybe there's even more division. Maybe there's like a top first class and then a lower first class, and then even middle divisions of middle. So we'll see how the episodes play out. But that was our special segment.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. With our time left, let's really quickly go into predictions. Trina, what are your thoughts for next episode?
I hope there's love between Ben and Melanie.
Ooh.
Because he's really cute and she's really cute. So let's make it happen. He seems like he's not an awful murderer, but we haven't really met him, and that's just making assumptions. So I hope for a little romance, because I could use some ease within all of this. But for Ashley, I'll hope for bloody romance or something for her, because she's loving it. I just predict more chaos. There's no way that I would know what's going to happen. I'm confused.
Yes.
Brian, what are your thoughts?
So what I want to see definitely is more, I think we will get it because of what happened with the 2 security agents. So I want to, of course, see their backstory. Wait, she didn't die, right? They let her go?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure, because I was like, I saw her like run away, and then I was confused, like she was dead. So I want to see their backstory, and even more, I think we are going to see what happens with her, the aftermath, like how that affected her, how shaken up she is, and she, you know, she was already on this like pedestal of like, oh god, the tallies. So now she's probably like 5,000 times more. Like she has like this grudge against them, this vengeance that she wants to take out. So I think that's definitely going to play out in these next couple episodes.
Awesome. And Ashley, what are your predictions?
It's funny because I was watching cable. They're like coming up. I was like, no, because I'm not. But I kind of miss that about cable because I haven't watched cable in so long. Like just what's coming up, you know, what to look forward to. So for me, next episode, I'm excited to see more about the drawers. I want to see what Layton's plan, what he's planning with the drawers, and I know the revolution and take over the engine. And I want to see what happens to the tail now that some tailies are missing. Are they going to try to revolutionize again? So I'm kind of intrigued to see what happens in the tail.
Yeah. That, and it is interesting. I think for me, I am wondering, kind of like what you said, Ashley, about the drawers. I would love to, I feel like we have not met every character yet. I want to see more with the chain and the chains and that nightclub, and to see, like, I really feel like we are just kind of getting into this, and that there's a lot more they're going to show us in terms of the caste system and how people live and the addictions that people have in this world. So I'm very excited to see what they do with that. I just want to see more of the world, really, and to see see how Melanie grows or doesn't grow. And yeah, and the thing with her, like, just one more note, is that she has the ability to change because she's around regular people. So my prediction is she will change for the better, and that she's not going to be a tyrant. She's going to actually turn into somebody who is working for the people, and that the revolution is actually going to start with her. And that she, kind of like how I was saying I wanted to be in, she is in first class as the conductor because she wants to start the revolution. And so she's just waiting for her time. So on that note, Trina, where can everyone find you?
Y'all can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Hey Trina Dong.
Awesome. And Bryant, how about you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at the Bryant Santos, and catch me on AfterBuzz TV's Quarantine with the Stars.
Awesome. And Ashley, where can everyone find you?
Hey, you can find me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Ashley Morgan, ASHLEIGHMORGHAN.
Awesome. And you can find me on Twitter at Rach Goodman, or on my author Instagram account at Rachel Radner Author. Until next time, we will see you all back here on Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Snowpiercer Episode 2. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.